Austin's beautiful hair. He never wanted cut. He loved his hair. And that should have been his decision to cut his hair, and it was not. I taught him not to be bullied into having his hair cut, and none of the kids in our community bothered him about it. There were other kids that had long hair, other boys that had long hair. And everybody knew Austin as having long hair. It was nothing abnormal. All the kids in our community were the same kids he went to school with and went to daycare with, and they've always known him to have long hair. It would just be sometimes in a grocery store when an adult would mistake him for being a girl. And once he would correct them, as I taught him to, by either saying, no, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy, I just have a pretty boy face like Brad Pitt, or something about, well, even Jesus has long hair. He was very confident in himself, and he never got upset with people making that mistake. He just politely corrected them, put them in their place, and typically they would say that they had the same experiences as a child, that they would get mistaken for the wrong gender. And they would identify with him, and they would apologize to him, and it would be no big deal. Because I taught my child how to have self-confidence and how to love himself. And cutting his hair was to be his choice when he was good and ready to. And if he ever would come home and say that he wanted to cut his hair because somebody was making fun of him for it, which that never happened, but if that ever did happen, there is no way I would let him cut his hair on that basis. Because that is teaching your kid how to give in to a bully and how to not stand up for themselves and not have self-confidence and not love themselves. Now, I was told by Jennifer Donnelly that Austin was continually refusing to have his hair cut. Now, I'd like to know who the hell was putting him in such a position where he would have to refuse to have his hair cut. That sounds like bullying to me and not making it Austin's choice. And we do know for a fact that Alice was complaining to the ministry for many, many, many years about Austin's long hair and how she hated it, and she would make accusations of me supposedly pretending he was a girl just because he had long hair, which is completely false, and which is why, that being the first reason as to how they tried to justify stealing Austin from me by claiming I was pretending Austin was a girl, but they couldn't get him to cooperate with their story, so they had to try and see what else they could get to stick to the wall and change their story because Austin wouldn't lie for them. Also, when the ministry decided to accuse me of that, not once did they ever ask if Austin was transgender or, you know, anything that's going on in our culture these days that, you know, could be a reason behind why Austin was having long hair. I mean, there's a million reasons why somebody can have long hair. And his reason is just because he liked it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are so many men in this world with long hair. Even Austin's sperm donor used to have long hair. And just because of the fact that Alice, the Wicked Witch of West Vancouver, doesn't like my son having long hair, that's not a reason for my child to be bullied into having his hair cut off. And she did so without the ministry's permission. And she did not have any legal right to change my son's appearance. And they want to try and pretend that it was Austin's decision, but I know it wasn't, because as they said, Austin was refusing to have his hair cut, and the ministry was not even aware that his hair had been cut until I told them that I found out his hair was all gone. And Jennifer Donnelly promised me that she would get me his hair because that is rightfully mine, because I am Austin's mom, not Alice. And they had no right to bully my child into doing that. I know exactly what she said because it's the same bullshit brainwashing that I grew up with. And she says it in her stupid voice of, why would you want to look like a girl when you could look like a boy? Don't you think a little short haircut would be so cute on you? Nah, nah. All she does is push her beliefs onto you in a manner that makes it try and suggest that it's like your idea. So you get conned into it. But that's still brainwashing, and that's bullying. And all those times that my son was refusing to have his hair cut, he was standing up for himself because he had self-confidence and loved himself. And all she did was exactly what she wants to do with everybody around her, is beat you down until she can control you. That was the moment that she stole Austin's self-confidence, that she taught him to hate himself, and that she stole his soul.